The FIFA World Cup is being held in the Middle East for the first time ever, and Qatar has built 8 out-of-this-world mega stadiums to host the tournament. There's one made of shipping containers, and one has even been said to resemble a woman's unmentionable areas. Qatar is the smallest country to ever host a World Cup, so the country had some big shoes to fill, so much so that all the renovations and new construction have made this the most expensive World Cup of all time. The whole affair has amounted to the tune of $220 billion, a far cry from the World Cup in, say, Germany that only cost $4.3 billion. The stadiums only account for $7 billion of the money, however, as the bulk of the cost actually comes from infrastructural enhancements that are part of the broader Qatar 2030 plan. The stadiums are all situated within a 21-mile radius of the capital and will be connected by a tram system, allowing fans to watch more than one game a day if they so choose. Every stadium has solar-powered cooling tech to keep the temperature at 27 degrees Celsius. And after the event, one stadium will be dismantled forever. One will become the official home of a soccer team, and the other 6 venues will have their seats removed and delivered to developing countries in order to help their sports programs, leading to 22 new stadiums that will be created for developing economies throughout the world. On this episode of Built a Billion, we'll be getting into each stadium and what they have to offer. By the way, if you want to hear the latest on all the new mega projects and billion-dollar constructions of the world, please hit that subscribe button to stay up to date. Hang with us, and we'll show you all of the dream projects that are being built, 1 billion at a time. Number 1. LUSAIL Stadium. LUSAIL Stadium is the showpiece stadium that will host the final match. It was designed by Foster & Partner and can hold 80,000 spectators, which is the highest capacity of the stadiums. Its design was inspired by the Fanar lantern's characteristic intermingling of light and shadow, and the shape is reminiscent of the golden age of art in the Arab and Islamic world, when bowls were decorated with intricate and ornate designs. The stadium is 10 miles away from the Doha city center, but the new city of LUSAIL will not need a stadium, so at the end of the tournament, the seats will be donated to other countries for their respective economies. Number 2. BAYT Stadium. The BAYT Stadium will host the opening match between Qatar and Ecuador and will host 9 matches all the way up until the semifinals. The stadium also has the second highest capacity of them all, with 60,000 seats. The arena is designed to represent Arab hospitality and looks like a traditional Arab tent known as Bayt al-Sha'ar. This design honors the past, but the stadium also honors the future as a model of green development. BAYT features a retractable roof to keep out the heat to go with its temperature cooling systems. This stadium is the furthest stadium from Doha at 27 miles, but the laziest of fans will not have to worry. They can stay in the 5-star hotel inside of the stadium, and a shopping center will also be opened at the venue. Number 3. JANOUB Stadium. JANOUB is one of the first of the stadiums to be completed back in 2019 and has a capacity of 40,000. The futuristic design of the stadium is inspired by the dhow boats of Qatar and is an homage to the maritime culture of the country. It also has a retractable roof and is designed by the late British architect Zaha Hadid. Ironically, when the design for the stadium was first released, it became a meme for looking like what people said were women's privates. If it were designed by a man, I'm not sure that would have even crossed anyone's mind. Number 4. Stadium 974. Through all the fanciness, Qatar found a way to build a stadium that didn't cost much at all. This stadium was made from 974 shipping containers as a tribute to the nearby port. The stadium will be easily dismantled after the tournament, and fewer normal building materials were needed to build it due to its design, which kept construction cheap. The stadium was designed by Fenwick Iribarren architects, and I would bet they even found a way for the toilet paper in their houses to be recycled. Number 5. Education City Stadium. This stadium is just outside the center of Doha, will host 6 matches through to the quarterfinals, and become home to the Qatar women's team after the World Cup. Education City Stadium was nicknamed the Diamond of the Desert due to its shape and will glisten by day and glow at night. The stadium design ultimately represents resilience and beauty, just like a diamond. Number 6. AHMAD bin Ali Stadium. AHMAD bin Ali Stadium will host 7 matches up until the quarterfinals. Its features include intricate patterns that represent Qatar from its wildlife and history of trade. Number 7. Al-THUMAMA Stadium. Al-THUMAMA Stadium was inspired by the gafia, a traditional cap worn by men in the Middle East, making it a symbol of dignity and independence. This is also the first stadium designed by Qatari architect Ibrahim Al-Jaida. The capacity is 40,000 and the stadium will host 8 matches. After the World Cup, Qatar will donate half of the seats and the other half will be used for football and other sporting events. A boutique hotel will also replace the stadium's upper seats, with the surrounding areas outside becoming a community hub of retail and commercial units. The aim is to create an atmosphere of activity in the area that will last long after the 2022 World Cup. Number 8. KHALIFA International Stadium. Initially built in 1976, the KHALIFA International Stadium is one of the only stadiums built before the World Cup got announced for Qatar. In its history, the stadium has hosted the Amir Cup final last year, the 2006 Asian Games, and Gulf Cup, to name a few. It has been the national stadium since it opened and has been renovated especially for the World Cup. Very fittingly for a national treasure, there is also a sports museum connected to the stadium that commemorates the past and celebrates the country's pride in itself and its sports. The World Cup, however, has been full of controversy, and I know the comments will be full of condemnation for this event. The World Cup has come under international criticism due to its human rights violations. Thousands of workers have died due to poor working conditions while building these stadiums, and due to this, there has been debate among people around the world on whether to even watch the World Cup, with cities in France refusing to show the games on big screens in restaurants in protest. I'm all for beautiful structures and mega projects, but I believe and know that there is not one human life that is worth any structure. What are your thoughts on this? Let me know in the comments below. I've also made a video on some of the biggest mega projects in the world featuring Qatar's very own Qatar Towers, and that video should be on the screen. So in the meantime, click a video on the screen to watch something you haven't seen, and thanks for watching Built a Billion.